Going live, and we are currently live. What is popping, everybody?
Hope everyone's great. Great today. How are
This
you today?
is this is our first time actually talking, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah, like
It's always such a weird feeling when I've talked to friends that I've only talked to on Instagram or things like that, and then
mm,
it's actually face-to-face interaction, even though it's still Zoom, not really, but kind of semi get the feeling.
yeah, it's weird. Zoom friendships, man.
Seriously. Zoom school, Zoom everything. Are you going to school?
Yeah, this I'm in my last year of college.
Okay, cool. Where do you go?
I go to Appalachian State.
No way. That's my brother's dream school. I have a little,
Really?
yeah,
Wow.
he's
Well,
he's 15 and wants to go there so bad.
you know, great program. What does he want to study?
I'm not totally sure. Something he's really into video games and computer design and things like that, and he's taking classes
Mhm,
for that in school. So I think
mhm.
something in that field. What are you? You're in? What are you in? Like marketing?
I'm in graphic design.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I've
Yeah.
seen you post some of your projects, right?
Mhm. Yep, that is what I'm into.
Sick.
Hopefully, I'll work for some fashion houses for UX and UI design.
That's what you want to do? My mom is in UX too, so many coincidences. Wow.
Any coincidence, look at that.
Yeah, she has her own little freelance company, so
That's dope.
yeah.
You're based in what, Boston?
No, Chicago suburbs,
Chicago. For some reason I always thought you were in
Texas.
Yeah, no. I thought you were in Boston or
Oh, I
somewhere
thought you
up
said
there.
Austin.
Oh no.
Thankfully, I'm not in Texas right now. Sheesh.
Oh no. I'm so glad many of my friends are not there. I think only two are they're in that situation.
Yeah. All right. Let's have some people coming in right now. What's up, guys? So I just wanted to. First of all, I should probably introduce what we're doing today. Today I am joined by the wonderful Day Jones. It's our first time, like I said, talking face to face, sort of. She has a great YouTube channel. I believe it's linked down below if I remember to do that. But her name is Day Jones, and she has a great YouTube channel. Great vibes. How you doing?
Good. Thank you for the kind words. I'm great. How are you today?
I'm doing well. Just got done with online school and come to another Zoom call. So there you go.
Zoom is taking over our lives, low key.
Yeah. Can't really complain though. Yeah, doing well. Um, First of all, any channel updates or life updates that people who either watch your channel or follow you don't know about yet?
Channel updates. Honestly, I just post a bunch of fashion stuff, fashion related stuff. I am getting more into the history behind things, whether that's streetwear or designer or whatever. So I think my channel may move into a commentary direction.
Okay,
But
cool.
yeah, that's really just it.
Yeah, sick. I saw those new the dunks that Trevor put out.
Oh, the
How'd you like
Fugazi.
those? From a actual consumer point of view.
I I liked them. I ended up just giving them to a friend
Okay.
who wanted them more than me. They were actually not the ones that I actually wanted. I wanted the Jordan ones that he kind of recreated. But I would say if anyone likes dunks and everyone really wanted the Paris dunks that are 83,000 on
Yeah.
StockX, this would be a great alternative for them. So I thought it was cool. I thought it was cool.
Cool, cool. What's up, guys? Did I get my decision from FIT? Not yet. Supposed to get it sometime in the next week or two.
Let's
March
hope.
23rd, I believe, is the first day they send them out, and then April 1st is the last day. So
Oh my
somewhere in that
god.
time frame, I'm hoping.
Mm,
But fingers crossed for that.
bro,
Yeah.
I hope you get it. You're gonna love it there. I have two friends that
Oh,
just
really?
graduated there, so yeah, you're gonna love it. You're gonna love it.
What do they think about it? What majors do they have?
Uh, I believe both are in marketing.
Okay.
Um, their experiences just being in the city is over
That's
trumps them being in school because school is
yeah.
school at the end of the day.
Mhm.
But connections wise, it was endless for them. So
Yeah.
I would say that this is a great opportunity for you.
Thank you. Yeah, those are the two things that I'm like really banking on there. I think they might be in the same major that I applied to because mine is advertising and marketing communications, so it
Boom, there you go.
might be the same thing.
We'll like pass their contacts to you and like you
Yeah,
guys
for sure. I would
talk and
appreciate
stuff.
that. But yeah, fingers crossed for that. Thanks for keeping me company while I do an online lab. Glad we could do that. Thanks for tuning in. But other than that, yeah, I've just been trying to work on putting out more content,
Mm-hmm.
preparing content. I have a few videos that are edited and like ready to drop. So just waiting on those. Basically just want to have some stuff in the vault so that I have
Mm-hmm.
time, like if I slack on recording a video or something like that, I just have something to throw up.
Yeah.
So I have that. I quit my retail job for those of you that didn't know.
You
Um,
quit it. Oh
that
snap.
was that was rough, not gonna lie.
Are you
Just
scared? What was the reasoning behind it?
I just wasn't happy there, dude. Like I it was a like a pet fish store, like and I'm into that kind of stuff. Like
Uh-huh.
that's like my other hobby other than
Mm-hmm.
fashion. And it was just it kind of ruined like my love for it in a way. It was
Mm-hmm.
just very like seeing what goes on behind the scenes wasn't my favorite thing in the world. So
Yeah.
glad I'm out of
I
that
understand.
and hoping to focus a lot more on this. Oh, thanks, Io. What's up? Fashion archiving here.
Oh, the boy.
hmm What's up, Cole? Always on here. Appreciate you. Do you want to get into our main topic for today?
Oh man, I'm actually
Ooh,
like sweating.
me too, dude. I'm like, people got mad at that thing I posted, but we'll get into that later.
Yeah.
Anyways, so as most of you have probably seen, Fernando Rangel and Unsound Rags team put
Mm-hmm.
together a project of reconstructed Levi's, and people are infuriated by the price point. Um, some may say rightfully so, but what are your overall thoughts just in general? What do you want to lead with?
You shouldn't be mad at the price. You should be mad at the quantity
The
for several
60, just
reasons.
60 pairs?
Yeah. After a year and a half, I believe they said, of construction, you limit your clientele to 60 pairs. So those that can afford it are going to be fighting over each other because we know it's going to sell out. It's pretty undeniable
Oh
that's going
yeah.
to sell out. So I think that was kind of like, wow, you put so much time into this beautiful thing, and not only did you price it higher than your normal clientele or your customer base could probably afford, those that could afford it are now going to be like, oh, I got to get the right size, I got to get the right blah blah blah, and they're going to be like fighting over each other trying to like at
hmm
least get the item itself. So I'm like, what is this streetwear tactic? Is this like
Yeah.
Supreme? That's
So
what upset me the most.
okay, yeah, that's understandable. I mean, definitely. I don't know if that exclusivity is something that they're doing on purpose because Pair of Kings, great guys, shout out to them by the way. They
Mm-hmm.
had Fernando on the podcast today. The episode dropped this morning, and I spent all morning listening to it.
Mm-hmm.
And Fernando sort of broke down what they did. That most of that time was sourcing, and then they basically he said they from a business standpoint, like it wasn't even worth it to them to actually do this project, and it was more of a passion project just because like you said it did take so long. They started the sourcing like a year ago,
Mm-hmm.
and they basically got a ton of Levi's and then basically filtered through some of them
Mm-hmm.
and decided which sizes and which actual like pairs they could cut down to be the right size. So say a pair was a 33,
Mm-hmm.
they would want that to be able to be cut down to a 31 waist, but also retain that 32-inch inseam because
Mm-hmm.
they're going for like a stacked look. So it was like a lot of meticulous, like very specific measurement sourcing.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a part that was pretty interesting to me. And some could say maybe justify a little more.
Mm-hmm.
But my, the main thing that just got me mad was just how childish people were about this. Like
Yeah. No one
I
started a
see,
conversation.
yeah, there's no conversation. It's all people who I know are more mature than this, first of
Mm-hmm.
all, getting so mad over somebody, just a product that's out there. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if there's a line between trolling and like straight up just toxicity, and I
Mm-hmm.
think the line was crossed in that situation.
Yeah, I think people took this a little out of proportion in terms of the comments they were saying. I think
Yeah.
I wholeheartedly agree with you on just if you have discomfort about something that's being put out, at least say it in a constructive way where at least the person on the receiving end could be like, okay, they could take you more seriously if they decide to. But yeah, there wasn't really any room for conversation. But at the same time, I do understand their frustration. Um, you know, looking at Unsound Rags as a business as a whole, if we're just talking about price, we've never seen them exponentially go to $440. We've seen
Yeah.
them with their recent hoodie. What was it? Retailed for like 200 at least,
Yeah, I
or
don't
their
exactly know.
products. Yeah, their products were around like 45 for some like we've never seen them release a garment of that magnitude and price.
Hmm.
And so many people were like I was like looking through a bunch of comments at least trying to figure out who's going to try to talk about this nicely. And
Hmm.
there were a few comments that were just like I would have priced this closer to
Like 250, I think some people
250
said.
to 280. And
Yeah.
honestly, in my head I would have been like with the quantity and everything like that, I would have been like yeah, 300. I would have said max for those, but who am I to judge on the business end of
Hmm.
how long this took, the construction, the deconstruction, all of that stuff? If we consider all that stuff, like who are we to price that on the opposite end as a consumer? Because the business
Right.
end knows what they have to do to break even.
Right. And I don't, he said that they were like at the end of the day, they were actually losing money because they have a
Yeah,
team. He has a team of like what, 6 people or something like that, that they all need to eat. They all need to get paid. But
yeah.
um, when they dropped like a video of the construction, I saw people being like, maybe this isn't so bad. Maybe like, and then there was some comment that said like, um, trying to save face or something like that.
Oh,
But
damage control. I
damage
actually
control,
agreed
that
with
was
that
that was
comment
the exact wording.
because if you're making a product that took so much time, why wouldn't you want to show that across a year?
Right.
I counted the posts and it was only three.
Hmm.
Three posts until now that you showed this garment that you're pricing for 400. Of course there's going to be outrage. You didn't really communicate with your viewer base or your consumer base about like about what's going on. We just got hit with, oh, you guys have a week to buy this item that drops on
Hmm.
Saturday and it's $440. You also didn't prep your community beforehand.
Yeah.
I don't understand why. It's actually kind of recent. I'm seeing this with other brands too. They'll release all the price information and all of that stuff like days before the drop. Like
Hmm.
if you care about your consumer base, like give them like at least 2 weeks to know.
Yeah. It also creates like a sort of sense of immediacy. Like people are like, "Ooh, this is happening right now. I need this right now."
Yeah, it's a
And
psychological game.
people just, I mean, it's just like human nature at
Hmm.
this point with people in fashion. They just buy whenever they see it, something that's like you said, 60 pairs. People are going to
Hmm.
be fighting over it. Alec Augustin just made a really good point. Their price point doesn't reflect the Unsound Rags products. It would have got a lot of different response if it was posted on the Silver League page. I do feel like the vibe of the whole project as a whole, and even the look of the jeans, just fits the Silver League motto a lot better.
It's because they use vintage Levi's,
Yeah, that's the
so it
thing.
fit with Unsound Rag. I mean, if it was posted on Silver Reeks, of course the base of the customer base understands that Silver League is priced higher than Unsound Rags. They already understand that. So it wasn't going to be of an outrageous venture for them to price it that way if it was a
Exactly.
Silver League product. But if it because it's Unsound Rags and they're using vintage Levi's and stuff like that, it was disruptive. So I did read a comment about like this is why I think it was like something phrased around like this is why um you guys are taking the fun out of vintage or something like that.
Mhm.
And I was like, I was trying to understand what that comment meant, and I don't
Yeah,
think he replied back yet. But I was like, what do you mean by this? What do you mean like that they took the fun out of it? And I think it's because they made vintage like designer, and it felt designer, it felt like
yeah,
untouchable, and it's such a touchable product for $3 to $15 to $60 to $100, and you made this thing that is just so untangible for a lot of people.
yeah.
So I guess that's what he meant. That's what I took it as.
Taking the fun out of it, though. I mean, I guess that's in the eye of the beholder, honestly.
Yeah. I was like, I don't know what he means.
Michael said he's down to join. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I really want to hear what he has to
All
say
right.
on that what he commented.
So Michael Tandy is about to hop in here, guys. Just send
The
him over
big
the Zoom.
maestro.
Yes, and somebody with a very strong opinion on this topic. People are going off in the chat, though. Yeah, people are just saying they thought it was interesting that they didn't brand it as Silver League, but I agree. Just because of the Levi's,
Yeah.
it kind of I feel like if you're him, you have to put it in Unsound Rags just because it has that Levi's name on it. All right.
Yeah.
Here's Michael hopping in. Let's see.
Big M dog.
What is up?
Monsieur Tandy.
What's up?
How's it going?
It's going.
Yeah.
Hold on. Okay. All right. What are we on right now? What's the specific?
I think we're on marketing, but now I want to hear your opinion on the
Yeah. So
recent comment.
if you're not aware, Unsound Rags and like vintage resellers in general have like a really fucking bad, like, I don't know, like people just don't like them. And I think that has a lot to do with a lot of like misconceptions around vintage reselling. Mainly like people will, like, you see this idea a lot that vintage resellers are like taking clothes away from people who need them, which, you know, like at face value, there could be an argument there. But there are also statistics like, for example, I think it's something like 90% of donated clothing ends up in a landfill anyway. So it's not as if there's not enough clothes to go around. And, you know, like, I don't know, just things like this is just like.
Sorry, we're putting you on the spot.
No, you're good. You're good. It's like, I don't know, the like whenever you, it's the combination of that like bad reputation, we'll call it, and like the shock value of that price, because it is a really high price. Like that's like, there's no getting around that. Like it's just a fact. Like $440 is a lot of money, but there's also like, you know, the just like taking apart a pair of jeans takes a really fucking long time. And they weren't just like cutting the seams off with some scissors. Like they were, like, you can tell by the way the fading around the yokes, that those were like not exposed to the outside, so it was like on the inside of the seam.
Yeah, they mentioned that too. The way that it
right.
reveals like the original color of the fabric.
So yeah, you can tell that they like actually took apart the seams, which does take a long time. I got in an argument in their comments section with somebody about how long that takes.
I read all of it.
Done. Yeah. Maybe I went into that with a little bit bad energy, but I'll own up to that. But that whole conversation was ridiculous and presents like a lot of points that I would also like to talk about in here. But what was I saying about the deconstruction stuff? Like, yeah, that takes a ridiculous amount of time. Sorry, I'm talking so much. Y'all can hop in whenever you want.
Not, we wanted you.
I just have like I have a lot of thoughts on this subject.
Yeah. I don't even know where to.
Well, I would recommend people to go check out the Pair of Kings podcast sometime soon, because it's Fernando's own words about kind of, and it was recorded before he posted anything about it. So like before people got mad, So it's not like he's like responding to it. It's just him like explaining his thoughts about it.
Mhm.
So it was pretty cool to see like his actual perspective on it. Um,
I just
Actually, I
had
haven't
wish
listened
we
to
knew
that
that
yet.
sooner.
yeah,
I think
right.
that they might have dropped the ball on that one because, like I said, like you should be marketing if you're taking a year and a half doing this project and keeping people posted, and there's only been about 3 to 4 posts in that whole entire year talking about it. Of course, there's going to be outrage when we finally come to like the conclusive element of price, construction. Like I would have loved to know in all of this to phrase an opinion that was more empathetic, and I still am empathetic. It's not like I'm like disagreeing with um, the labor and the time and the blah blah blah. And like you have to know your work to price it. So it's like I understand all of that, but I just wish if I'm coming from like a consumer standpoint that if you love this passion project so badly, I would have shared that so much, like just a little more detail about it, at least in my opinion.
That's understandable.
Um,
One thing I've seen is people drawing comparisons. I forgot who I was talking to, but they draw a comparison to the Vetmont Levi's and how
The
people
Chrome Hearts.
like, yeah, but sure,
Yeah.
they they were memed on, but did people really throw so big of a fit about the Vetmont Levi's? And they didn't even do as much to them,
Yeah.
right.
like patched or like I don't know, would you call it thrashed or there were a few different pairs, but I don't think even that went as deep and as detailed as this.
Yeah, and we can even talk about how like Line Zero Margiela has been doing the same shit for decades,
Yeah, I mean
and
that's the
I have
basis of it.
never ever not once seen like a negative comment about that concept when it's essentially the same thing, except you'll see a vest that they're charging like $1,300 for retail
Mhm.
for, and nobody seems to give a shit. Blows my mind. Blows my mind.
I
Right.
think people do give a shit, but they're just not buying it. I mean, you see
Well, a lot of
who are
people
the
just
type of
chalk
people
it
that
up
buy
to
it?
like, oh, that value is justified because it's more artistically whatever. I don't see a lot of people like talking about I saw a couple people saying it was like lazy design or whatever.
It doesn't
Um,
seem like lazy design to me,
Oh,
honestly.
yeah, I don't
no,
agree with
and
that.
like yeah, they seem like very like well proportioned, a very well proportioned pair of pants. Like I could tell you the exact pair of pants that they referenced, but I don't know. Like there are design gripes to have, but like
Mhm.
the whole price thing is just so
Yeah.
stupid to me. Like
One thing I'm curious about is like how are they going to sell them? Are they selling them individually, like on the site? Each one is a different listing because each one has
yeah.
to be unique, right?
So from what I understand, it's yeah, they're gonna have 60 individual listings. I know they had to have like 20 different patterns made or something like that. It's just a lot of work.
Yeah, because on the podcast he was saying none of them have an inseam shorter than 32 inches, which is like he wants to create like the stacked look, of course. Um, so I was just wondering if each one
How
is.
far does the waist size go up? Like, what is the cap waist size?
I honestly don't know.
Because then we could go into the problem of, well,
Yeah,
not only did you chop out people that can't afford it, you chopped out who can wear it.
Someone just commented. To be fair, it takes a brand like Margiela years to build up a reputation to where they can price pieces like that and get away with it. But the issue with that is like that's the same argument that people were using to get mad at Unsound Rags. Like people would be like, "Oh, these jeans cost way less to make, but they're only priced this much because this page is so pretentious
mm-hmm.
and they don't want poor people wearing their clothes or some shit like that."
The only thing I can say to that comment, Simon, is Fernando has built his image for years. You know, he has built Silver League and Unsound Rags for, I guess, coming up on like, what, 2, 3 years now? So it's not like there hasn't been a reputation being built. And if you can't see that that reputation is that they are on the expensive side of vintage, then maybe, you know, at least for me, I was talking with my friends about it. You have to realize their clientele. You have to realize not the celeb clientele, but the clientele that can afford $100, $200 vintage T-shirts and jeans and stuff like that. They
In
price it
my
to a certain way.
in my opinion, I don't even see like the exclusivity pricing factor working its way into these, because like these jeans probably cost like over $200 per unit to produce. And on top of that, you're paying like like all the costs for samples, which probably cost $500 each to produce. You're paying your team. They only made 60 pair of these, so whenever you sell them for 440 each, I think it comes out to like $26,000.
Oh
So
yeah,
if
I
you
did
take
math.
off half of the price for the cost of production, you're down to 12,000. Then you got to pay your rent, you got to pay your workers, you got to
It's
pay for the
people.
samples.
It's a team.
Like they're not like this is like 8 months of work. They're not making hardly any money. Like the reason that they can do this and like not be living in poverty is because they have another source of income. This is basically like a passion project. The thing that I've been like drawing comparisons to in my head is like how like a lot of huge fashion houses aren't actually profitable based off of their clothing lines, but they're profitable based off of their
Fragrance.
accessories like fragrances, bags, shoes, stuff like that. In this situation, the creative passion project is the jeans, and the accessories are the vintage that they sell.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, I do want to talk more about the reputation that they have, though,
Mm.
like because a lot of people really hate these communities because, or not these communities, but these pages because um, the prices that they charge for clothes or for vintage clothes are kind of high. Some might say,
Mm.
um, and I think the question there is to draw a comparison um, with vintage or with department stores, they'll buy clothes at wholesale price, which is usually about half of what they end up getting sold for at the department store. So where does that value added come from to make it justifiable to pay twice what it costs to get it from a department store? You have to consider curation. Everything's in one place. Um, Paying for the workforce who does the curation, works the sales floors, does customer service. Um, and what else? What else goes into that?
Yeah, there's a lot that goes into like
Yeah,
RFI payment, distribution, packaging,
right.
paying your workers.
And I think it's kind of like absurd to like um, to sort of what's the word, propose the idea that like all of
Mm.
these clothes would be so easy to find on your own, because like if you go to like a Goodwill or something like that, I'm not finding any jeans that have like the amount of wear or like good looking wear that you would find on these pages. um so I don't know, like
I guess that part depends because like I mean I eat, breathe, and sleep vintage like for the past like 2 years now, and it there is an ambiguity aspect to it that if you don't know where to look, you won't find. And of course, when we go to our local Goodwills and stuff like that, you may have a chance of finding something like nice 501 fader with details and whatever like that. But in this market of like at least last year and the year beforehand, I'm seeing like this occurrence of pages that are manipulating the original garment. So it is
Mhm.
not actually what you find, it is how you manipulate it after.
mm,
So that could be just getting it wet, sun drying it on the roof, or getting it wet, a little bit of bleach, a little bit of color remover, putting in the wash, and then boom. So I'm not sure if that's what they've done. Of course, they could be finding like um, I guess like the number way to find a bunch of like Levi's pairs or something like that is like going to a yard sale, going to a mom and pop yard sale. You can find so many pairs. It's just how you look for the item, and
yeah.
Unsound Rags is very good at looking
Mm.
at where
And
that.
like most people can like find these things if you look hard enough,
Mm-hmm.
but you can just go to unsoundrags.com. You've got all these options in one place. It's a convenience thing, like
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And
convenience, curation, and
Mm-hmm.
paying for the um, workers who do the shit.
Yeah, you're paying for the price and the labor and a little
Hmm.
bit of the, I guess, characteristics that the item has.
this is
Someone said that I mentioned earlier that they were referencing a certain piece.
yeah.
I'm talking about the label under construction 1/3 seam jeans. That's what That's what I'm guessing they were referencing.
This is a totally different thing, but it kind of ties into that. Like, if you don't know where to look, you won't find.
Mhm.
People are getting so mad that Yahoo Japan is getting more popular among people, and I mean, it's driving up the prices of things. This is
Mm.
sort of like a similar thing. What do you think about that? Because, like, I
Um,
mean, people are getting so mad that they can't find like old Raf Simons jackets anymore for $200 and resell them for an insane amount of money.
people will pay what they're willing to pay, and that price will continue to go up until it gets to a point where people aren't willing to pay it anymore.
Yeah.
So
Who knows
There's
when?
always a price ceiling with everything, and we're not there yet. I think we're halfway there with price ceiling on any market. You can apply that theory to any market, but for fashion, it's gonna definitely hit a glass ceiling where we're like, I'm not paying that. I'm not gonna pay that price at all.
How do you feel about the denim being single stitched? Somebody asked.
So yeah, that was one of the design gripes that I mentioned. The yokes on the back and the inseam and what's the word, the crotch seam aren't flat felled, which flat felling is basically the stitching technique that they use on. You'll see just regular jeans. Most jeans use it. All Levi's use the flat fell on the waist seam or on the crotch seam and on the back yokes.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and what that does is add like a bit of um, it helps them like wear more. Like they last longer. The seams
Yeah,
won't
just
bust as
like
easily.
reinforcement, right?
Yeah. So and jeans are historically like a very workwear based thing.
Yeah,
Like to remove these aspects would kind of take away from the original design.
yeah,
But the truth is, these things aren't really necessary. And like with the average wear of like, the average person, like going through their day, their pants probably aren't going to bust open.
hmm
More often, you're going to see the fabric around these seams wear out before the seams would actually bust. So with flat felling, the cost of production goes up with every time you have to remove the needle from the garment. So, and like every time you have to turn it, pick it up, anything like that, this is like calculated on a price sheet. Um, so the question is adding these things necessary to raise the price from what it already is, where people are already super mad about it?
hmm
Like, is it going to make the jeans that much more wearable? Is it going to like influence people to buy them more, even if the
Mm-hmm.
cost has to raise like up to 500 instead?
Mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah, just something to think about. Like, there's so many aspects of this issue where
Yeah,
people are
it
just
really are.
having like knee-jerk reactions to
Yeah.
them, and like it's not that simple. Like it's not that simple. It's not as simple as like seeing a price and being mad about it. There's so much that goes into the shit. Like
Couple things. Single stitch is just such a buzzword right now, like especially with like t-shirts and things like that. It's kind of like a meme, I guess, and that sort of ties into like what I was gonna say next, which is that I feel like a lot of their negative reputation is a result of these people who just like make everything into a meme or a joke,
oh,
and
absolutely.
like they people are impressionable and they follow what these meme pages say, not even meme pages, but people who
Mm-hmm.
like agree with what they have to say, and they're afraid to get sort of go against the opinion
Yeah.
of these people, and I feel like that contributes a lot to their negative reputation in the first place. And
Jackson, I'm gonna give you a piece of advice right now. Don't make your content ever like cater to like a really memey, like
yeah,
attention grabbing, just like entertainment type
yeah,
thing, because you're gonna attract those types of people.
yeah, I
Like we've seen this with Magnus. Like that's the whole fucking reason why he got tired of the shit, is because like people would never take his shit seriously. And now we're seeing it with Unsound Rags, because
yeah.
Fernando and Jacob isn't part of Unsound Rags, but he's kind of associated with that.
His
Uh,
yeah, his content has always been pretty like
yeah, very deep
Meme god.
fried.
you're right about Magnus. Like I remember watching his videos and he would like be genuinely like pissed off by the things people were saying. And it's like I don't want that sort of energy around my channel at all.
No, absolutely not. And like when it gets to things like this where like maybe you have to explain yourself a little bit about something, you're going to want people around you that will listen past like
Right.
the first initial impression.
Exactly.
And it just sucks because like you get one of them, you get a million of them because like I
Yeah.
said in those comments, that dog pile shit is
Uh-huh.
such an easy dunk. Like it's so easy to get a laugh from that,
Yeah.
but
You want people to approach your stuff as serious.
Right.
What
yeah,
sometimes, and I think that's what Unsound Rags wanted to do with it.
yeah, and if like people's first reaction to your content is like to meme most of the time, that's not going to change whenever you do something serious.
Yeah.
Um, so you're kind of like attracting a consumer or not a consumer, like a following that is not I don't know, very reactionary is probably how I would describe it. Just operating off of their first impression and not thinking any further than that. So you kind of
Anyways, I just don't think I'm a funny person, and I don't think that I am enough of like a reactionary person to. I don't even. I have a hard time saying my opinion most times. Like this situation is one of the first times like I've ever like actually like shared how I feel about something. Like I usually am just a very like reserved person. Like okay, that's stupid, but I'm
Mhm.
not gonna say anything about it. But this like situation, just seeing like both people that gate kept me super hard when I was first starting to get into fashion, um, like people who got their friends to swarm my comments and stuff like that. Um,
the fuck.
Being those same people that commented on that, and people that are super nice to me and like I interact with on a daily basis, just being like this whole different person in a comment section, it just really peeved me and it didn't sit right with me.
Yeah, there were a lot of people in that comment section that were like fucking archive heads, super pretentious gatekeepy that were just absolutely shitting on them and pretty much just I don't know, showing how fucking little that they actually know about the shit. Like
Yeah,
makes me
not
so
only that,
fucking
but
mad,
just
dude.
it's just so unnecessary and immature. Just like
Yeah, absolutely. Like
coming back to what we said earlier, is just like at least say why, at least just give us something, like something that is actually concrete and has some stuff, some substance.
yeah. Well, the only fucking like absolutes that these guys were operating off of were the ideas that um, Unsound Rags are fucking rolling in dough because they like raise the price to like extortionate levels for their stuff, and that they probably had these jeans manufactured in a factory and costed like fucking $50 to produce them, and they only raised the price really high because they could because people will buy the shit. And to assume that shit is really fucking stupid, like
That's why I
really
was saying.
stupid.
That's why I was saying like when they posted that video, I feel like a lot of people like realized that there was actually that maybe what they
Yeah.
were saying before wasn't completely right. Were you gonna say something, Dave?
I mean, I actually took this to my professor, who's a
Oh, really? Oh,
of
yeah.
fabrics, because I was just like curious, because they're like, I want to stay hip, and I'm like, okay, let me like show you what this small brand. I'm like, I don't even know if you can call them a small brand, but this small group of people created, and they were like, okay, and their backgrounds is fabrics, and they worked in manufacturers for like 35 years, and I was just asking like, how much would this cost? Like, just tell me what goes into this, because I really would like to know. I feel like I have an idea, and a lot of people in the comment section of their post had an idea that is, I guess, not too far off in terms of like steps, but far off in the sense of like that's not really true in this case. And they were explaining like, of course, what Michael explained, like there are a lot of things that they had to pay prior to releasing, and that could come into like I said, distribution, packaging, paying their workers, making the patterns, making the samples. All of this stuff is costly. It's a costly venture, and especially with COVID happening, I'm pretty sure that was even more
Yeah.
frustrating.
And plus, these factories usually, like, I would say most factories don't have experience in this type of work. So it's also a lot of figuring shit
They
out.
definitely had to go to a seamstress on this, and
Well, I think
like
from, if my memory serves me correctly. I don't know if they ended up doing the project through them, but I know at first they were working with Garrett Wilson's studio in Los Angeles. It's called like Atelier Obsidian or something like that.
Probably expensive as heck. But there is a job within manufacturers, like I'm just like speaking generally, there is a job called job estimating, and it is their job to literally estimate every possible factor, including um gut or waste of every fabric and stuff like that, and then like repurposing it inside their general design. And so with job estimations, you're never gonna have the price didn't cost 440 for them to make. It definitely cost probably somewhere around half, but then they have to take those costs and reallocate them. So
Yeah,
that's the first thing people need to understand. Like, of course, maybe they're pricing it at 440, but you need to deduct
yeah,
that sum of how to return on investment. So
right.
that's just
And
general
if
business.
right, yeah. Gosh, there's oh my gosh, someone in the comments, one of the dudes that I was arguing with was saying, let's be generous and assume that
Yeah.
these pants cost 240 a piece for this manufacturer to produce for them.
Mm.
Um, to just sit there and assume that the remaining $200 is straight profit is ignorant, like super ignorant.
But at the same time, it is ambiguous to us as the consumer and is ambiguous
Yeah,
to anyone else looking at it, because there is a possibility, this is the words of my professor, there is a possibility that that is pure profit. There is a possibility that it did not cost that much. There is that possibility, but because we don't know those factors, we don't have the say in determining that, or dogpiling and saying like, oh, this
right.
is gonna cost you 330 or $10 to make and you're making $300. No, 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 no. Like,
Something to think about though is that they're only making 60 pairs. So
oh,
if they're making $200 off of each one, what is that, like $12,000 total?
mm,
Um, Stretch that over how many months did it take to make these? Like 8 or 9. Um, that's not that fucking much money, especially when you've got a full, like, I think they got a team of like 5 right now at Unsound Rags and Silver League. That's not very much money at all. And that's highballing the profit as well. Not profit, but the what they made after the cost of goods sold.
this definitely is an either way venture. They either broke even or they made a little bit of dough, and
Yeah.
that's fine because that's what a business needs to aim for, making a little bit of dough to make future projects. At the same time, what is the solution of all of this? Because we can go all day talking
Well,
about, you know.
it's really just this is something that I am really focused on trying to remedy like throughout my career, like going forward, is to re-educate consumers on what a like reasonable price to expect for a pair of pants or any piece of clothing is in general,
Mhm.
because I've mentioned this before. The average person has come to accept that $40 around there is probably like a reasonable price to pay for a pair of jeans, we'll say. Um, but that price is only the product of labor that or underpaid labor from other countries, because a lot of our outsourcing is done to countries that don't have very high minimum wages or even pay their workers like enough to live off of. So I don't know, and it's also a lot more expensive to use like fabrics and production methods that aren't so taxing on the environment. Um, there's just a lot of work to be done on education, because
Mhm.
since we have outsourced all of our manufacturing jobs overseas and clothes have become so much more accessible just based on the prices dropping, consumer brain is just taken over. It's
Yeah. I would
Everybody
have.
needs full closets of clothes that cost fucking pennies on the dollar to make. Um,
And
and
buy.
that's just like not the way that it used to be back when like America had a strong union presence and manufacturing sector. People didn't own a lot of clothes because they were a lot more expensive, comparatively. I think the issue when talking about this is that whenever you price stuff what it should be priced,
Mhm.
um, there it like removes a bit of accessibility from a garment. or from, clothes in general, because people who don't make as much can't afford them anymore. It's going to be really difficult to try and like push the message that you want to push and say at the same time, like,
Mm.
accessibility should not be as high as it is right now. For many reasons. For example, workers should be getting paid more than they do now. Dye factories, things like that, should be held to stronger standards in terms of the environment, in terms of like the waste that they output. Just like a lot of regulations need to be put in place to make sure that stuff is taken care of before that price, you know, comes to mind, I guess.
Well, on that issue, do you think it starts with the consumer, or do you think you can't blame the consumer?
Oh no. So yeah, this is another issue as well, because there are a lot of, I've watched a lot of like documentaries on like sustainability within the industry, and like the prevailing narrative, like the resolution in every single fucking one of these documentaries. Sorry, can I swear on here? Are you cool with that, Jackson?
I don't care.
Okay, I'm sorry. Every single one of these documentaries, at the end of it, it says we have to educate the consumers so they will know not to support these companies, blah blah blah.
Right,
but that's like, it's like, how far can you go with that? Because there's a huge culture in America of out of sight, out of mind, basically. Like you see this with like trash going to landfills. Nobody really gives a shit what happens to it after that, after it leaves their home. So like, how many people can you actually get to care about people who live on the other side of the world? It's you got a limited ceiling there. So what needs to happen is more advocacy for like environmental regulations.
exactly.
Like one of the main things that made this whole thing possible was NAFTA in the early 90s. Reducing a lot of the barriers that would allow us to outsource our jobs overseas, and kind of like taking away the incentive for manufacturing jobs to stay in America. Yeah, so I think there needs to be a lot more political of an approach than a like trying to get consumers to buy better or whatever. But there can be an impact made on that. Like we've seen that from like a rise in people not agreeing with the practices of like factory dairy farms. Like pretty much everybody is,
The
every
rise of
young
oat
person
milk.
is drinking like almond milk and oat milk now instead of regular milk. I think sales for regular milk have dropped like 10% since that big movement. And that's probably an old statistic as well. So obviously consumer education can have an impact, but we're at such like a dire crossroads in, well, if you want to particularly talk about the environment, with the like impending tipping point, I guess, that we're approaching, that scientists are saying in like 2030, there needs to be government action taken, because that is the only way that is the most efficient course of action. Rather than trying to educate consumers on who they should and shouldn't buy from. I think there needs to be a lot more control over what is allowed, rather than just letting it happen and letting the consumers take care of it. Sorry, that was such a fucking long rant and so far from the topic, but I think it is something
No, I
that's
mean
really important.
it's
There's a lot
necessary.
inside of that. Jeez.
I do think on the flip side of that, there's, at least for me, I mean, until I started making that measure to understand how things are made and pricing and all of that stuff and allocation and all stuff like that. I mean, it's still ambiguous. The consumer either has to make a choice of learning it from the brand or learning it on their own. And let's be real, most consumers like to learn from the brand that they're so closely following for years and years and years. So I'm like, I don't know. Like I said, if we're going back to Unsound Rags, I just wish that they had prepared their consumer base before releasing this. Took us with that process. Didn't have to make it look like to someone else that you're saving face, you know? I wish it was a little bit like that. I don't know.
Yeah, he's definitely a marketer, I will say. There's no arguing that he's a good marketer, and part of that, dropping it like so soon before it releases is part of that, I guess.
Who
Um,
get paid on a Saturday? I mean, some people do.
yeah,
I, but like for real, like I would have liked 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a little bit heads up, something. But he is playing off of
I
him
agree, but yeah.
for sure.
Let's see. Um, Brianna says, I feel like you can't blame the consumer for not wanting to spend half of their paycheck on one pair of jeans, even if it is sustainable and better for the environment. The issue is capitalism. That's a fact. That's, yeah.
Facts.
I think that statement is kind of like what my rant there was rooted in. Um, because if you want to get into the whole issue of neoliberalism, asserting that market forces will produce better outcomes than government intervention, that's a whole other conversation we can have. But it's a bit out there. A
I
lot of
feel like people my age, I'm 17 still. People my age are too scared to say that political change is necessary. A lot of people are like, "Oh, politics, nah,
yeah,
politics, nah, that sucks." But I mean, it sure it sucks, but it has to happen at some
Yeah,
point or another, or else this whole thing is just going to keep going on.
break the wheel, as they say.
Yeah, I mean, who else is gonna put these regulations in place? The government has to do it.
hmm
Yeah.
But is it gonna happen? Who knows? Really,
yeah, yep.
has to.
It's
But
a huge. I don't know. It's
There was like a comment, like I think you brought it up with the Venmonts of like I saw the same comment of like someone saying, "What's the difference of you paying $1,500 for Chrome Hearts versus Unsound Rags?" And I was like, "There's many differences," but then that posed a solution in my head. Like if they wanted to make this a longevity project, I don't know if it would. Obviously, I'm
yeah,
no job estimator. I don't know if it's going to lose them money over time or make them money over time. But the
yeah,
thing about Chrome Hearts is that you can order those pair of pants and then a tailorist is behind there making it to your preferred measurement. So I'm like, would that be a solution for what they were trying to do instead of releasing 60 quantities?
like make them special order.
Yeah, like make them like you can order it, they make it, whatever, and then at least it's like a more personal exchange,
Would
and
that
then it would be less,
well,
I guess.
that would
Maybe.
make the price like way higher because you have to draft a new pattern
For
for
sure.
each individual order,
yeah,
Mhm.
uh, which
Which is
adds
why they're
like
so
so
high.
much money. Like
Yeah,
the like you can't like mass produce clothing made to measure because, like I said, you have to draft a new pattern for every
for
one.
sure. I meant
Um,
more so in like the waist sizes.
oh,
Like,
and the waist sizes.
yeah, not necessarily like it's the same pattern cut, but like we have different differentiating like weight sizes. So then they would
okay,
have like a higher quantity. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, you can do that through like grading,
Yeah.
grading patterns.
So I'm
Uh,
like, maybe that could be a solution. I don't
I
know.
don't know
Over
enough about
now.
actual patterns to really like have an opinion on that. So
mhm. Um, I don't know. I think that's kind of like what like Levi's does in general. Um, I don't know. I think the main thing that is going to add or take up most of the um, you know, like reflect the most labor in that price, the price that they're charging is from just taking apart the jeans and having to cut them out.
Mm,
Because like if they had just used these same patterns with like just some regular fabric that you didn't
mhm,
have to deconstruct, the price would have been a lot lower.
for
That's
sure.
just a fact.
For sure.
Um, so
I think they
yeah,
were
and there's
trying to think of like
also
how to keep it sustainable by using garments that already existed,
right,
dyes that already existed,
yeah,
which I commend them on for doing that because I'd rather them not take a
yeah,
fabric dye, go through all that process, and then try to charge whatever. But
yeah.
yeah. Because
Someone said on the Pair of Kings podcast, Fernando stated that this was a passion project and not a business oriented project, as he and his team would lose money. Did he actually say that?
yeah, I basically mentioned that.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I kind of figured that. There's a lot of people think that like small fashion houses make a lot more money than they do, but like
mm,
people in the fashion industry are like unless it's like a huge house, they aren't making that much money. Like
starting out, they're losing money on everything.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
And
Until you get like a huge following, you're not making
Mhm.
very much money.
I saw some people also arguing that they would have liked it if it was like an original like selvage denim and not Levi's. just that the word vintage Levi's, I feel like just threw so many people off because, but
Yeah.
I think it's better for them to do something like that. Like you
Yeah,
just,
that's so weird because like people champion old Levi's for having like the best feeling denim. Like I'm sure they used pairs that had like exceptionally soft and like worn in, broken in denim rather than like a brand new pair of raw denim you have to break in yourself. And a lot of people aren't willing to go through that
I mean, Day, you have
process.
a whole video out about different kinds of vintage Levi's. What do you think about that?
Uh,
That was a great video, by the way.
thanks. Uh, I don't like the word vintage too much sometimes when it comes to pants because identifying them takes time.
Hmm.
And I don't know if the Unsound Rags team identified every pair of Levi's to say that they're vintage. But I mean, I'm glad that they used vintage Levi's. I mean, I don't know if that answered the question, but
Used in general.
you know, just like in general, I'm glad. I'm still glad that they used pants that were already in existence. Like,
Mhm.
I'm glad that they didn't have to go through another route.
Agreed. Yeah.
You know, we
I
want to
mean,
be
I think all
sustainable.
three of us, at least, at least like 90%, if not all of our like consumption now is secondhand. Like I know you shop a
Yeah.
lot secondhand. I know Michael champions that. I really have to fight hard to justify to myself if it's not secondhand. So I feel like that for at least me, it it just made would if I were to buy them, I'm not going to buy them because I just currently can't I can't do it. But if I were to buy them, I feel like that's just another aspect that would kind of justify it a little for me.
Personally, I'm not going to buy them because I already know that it exists in the market. I'm gonna go get a pair of vintage Levi's, and I know where to look, and I'm gonna get the perfect fade that I like, that is personal to me. I'm gonna go to a tailor, and I could, if I wanted to, ask for, if I go to a cool seamstress or someone that can master that. I'd be like, okay, I'll turn that into a project of my own to see if it's possible. But that's what the average consumer might do in this case. The brown ones that they released or showed a picture of, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna buy a brown pair of 1990s Levi's, and that is the closest I'm gonna get to the look,
Yeah.
unless I go the extra mile. So,
Yeah.
so
Pair of Kings commented saying, I forgot to mention this exact number, but he used every 4 out of 100 pairs that he
I think he meant to say 40.
I'm about to say 4 out of 100.
is it 4? Because
Well,
that's
in the
like,
next comment he says 40, so I don't know if you meant.
oh, okay. I see. Hmm. He said hundreds of pairs and 40 out of 100. I don't know exactly.
Looked at about 400.
That's a confusing statement.
I hope it's 40, but that's still a low quantity out of 100.
Yeah, it is.
Any suggestions for finding old Levi's? Yes, go to them yard sales that y'all don't want to go to. Mask up, and there you go. Because I guarantee they got some. Go to wholesale market, or not wholesale markets, but like the Goodwill bins. Boom, get the digging. Now in LA, I mean, I don't know. Sometimes they be charging you guys to go into the Goodwill bins. I don't really know the
They do?
LA. So yeah, going into the bins. Sometimes it's like, or going to rag houses. Sometimes it's $1,000 on entry.
Yeah,
And
you
then
gotta pay
sometimes,
for like a slot.
yeah. So
Yeah.
I'm like, ooh, but I would say go to a
Fernando,
yard sale.
Fernando touched on that also in the podcast. He said that you need a license to prove, in most of them, you need a license to prove that you're actually like a business
Mm-hmm.
and you can't shop there for personal gain.
Yep.
You have to at least like have a certain license. I don't know what the license is, but I
You
know
have to
you
be a
have
licensed business.
that you're a business.
Yeah, and then a minimum of 1,000. Good lord.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's another thing that goes into it. I mean, they actually have to pay to source if
Mhm.
they're going through something like that.
Right.
But LA has,
A ton, yeah.
you can find several places to thrift in LA. Same for like if you're in Texas right now. Texas has insane vintage stores or quote unquote vintage stores that pay you next to none. And there are some obviously that are curated kind of at the same prices of Unsound Rags, but most of the time you can walk out with a pair of Levi's for max 40, max 30. There's some people out there that are just not in it for the profit per se, or they
Mhm.
recognize the profit and they just don't shoot that high. But cost of living is different everywhere, so I'm sure that also has to play.
Ooh, people are confirming that it was 4 out of 100.
What?
Every 100 pairs he saw. I'm guessing this is just like a blind estimate, but I mean, like,
Sounds
uh,
like a little bit of an
Yeah.
exaggeration if I'll be
that would
real.
mean you have to go through like what, more than like 1,200 pairs of pants, which is crazy. Like 1,500. I don't even know if I'm
I mean,
doing.
no doubt he probably saw. There's you could walk into the Rose Bowl flea market and probably look at a pile of Levi's on the ground, and of course that's your 4 out of 100. You just sorting through which ones that would be parried to your collection of or the style you're going for, which of course their style is faded, grungy type esque.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm pretty sure. I'm no doubt he probably selected a curated ideal
Hmm.
for going into it.
I think, does that wrap up everything we have to say about the Unsound Jeans? That was quite a bit.
Yeah, I think I got it all out of my system.
I
Got it.
agree. So there you go. Do you want to stay on, Michael?
I was actually about to hop off just because
Yeah.
I think I exhausted all of my talking points.
You said you have schoolwork to do, right?
Yeah, I do. I got a lot. I'm
Yeah,
behind.
definitely do that.
Peace out,
Don't
brother.
don't waste too much time.
No, never do that. Never, never.
I appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, no problem. If you all enjoyed my rants, there are several more of them on my YouTube channel, and
Yep.
it is just my name, Michael Tandy. So if that was interesting to you, I get into a lot of stupid shit like that on my channel. So
Make
Cool.
Michael have a podcast one day.
I don't know about that. I think I feel bare with just my voice. I need to have like some shit around me though.
Yeah.
Distract you from looking
Yeah,
at.
exactly.
All right. Well, appreciate you.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me on. It's good to
Yeah.
talk to you guys. Y'all have a great day.
You. All right. Cool. That was quite a ride.
Yeah,
There's a lot that we missed in the chat, but I apologize. We couldn't really touch on every
there
single.
was a lot we were going in.
Yeah. Um, but just I have a few more points that I wanted to talk about. I don't. You might as well. On the whole vintage topic, you yourself have a vintage shop.
I do.
Obsolete, right?
Yeah, I co-run it with my friend Sal. Sal is the original owner, and he brought me on. Um, and yeah,
So yeah. So how did that all come about? And do you guys like have any like philosophy that goes into it, or is it just like a fun project to do?
um, how was it brought on? So Sal just loves vintage. His name is Salvador Vega. Salvador underscore Vega underscore. And the boy just loves. He's so inspired by fashion, particularly vintage. I think he has a deep connection that fuels my connection with seeing a vintage garment. And we're talking about 1950s to 1990s. We typically don't have any sort of interest in anything past um,
Mhm.
2000s or 1990s. But yeah, he's a real cool dude. I met him over Instagram. We were both featured on like some sort of fit pick Instagram account or something. And I was like really vibing with his style because it looked just like Jacob Keller. And I look up to Jacob Keller a lot in the
Yeah.
beginning as just a person. And
Mhm.
then, yeah, I saw that he was like very similar to that. And then we just hit it off and we've been like great friends ever since then.
Yeah, it's like it's always cool when you can do something with somebody who is like a genuine friend.
Yeah, he's dope. He's a dope guy.
Yeah. Any recent pickups or anything like that?
Recent, God, it's probably sun drying. I'm working on actually fading a couple of crew necks for our store.
Cool.
They were already faded enough, but I was like, oh, let's just push it a little bit and
Mhm.
see if we can go a little further. But in terms of recent pickups, I'm looking for a new boot. That's
Nice.
what I'm like really sourcing right now. I don't really want to pick up anything other than a new boot. So,
Cool. I will be getting, unfortunately, a new boot. I told
oh
you
yeah, yeah, yeah,
about the ground cover situation.
yeah.
My ground cover boots basically got wrecked, guys.
Ixnade.
Went sledding one day. It was snowy. Had to do it. They were the only shoes I had.
Oh man,
I thought they would be fine. So,
God,
hopped down
dude.
the hill, and that was all she wrote. The toe caps, I wish I had them like right here so I could show you, but like the toe caps turned into like a
Mm.
pulpy
Pulp.
texture.
Oh, like a that white
Yeah,
shoestring. Oh yeah.
it's like how they get stuffed like naturally, but like
Uh,
10 times worse. So um, Avery was kind enough to say that he'll send me a replacement pair once they restock. I don't know when they're restocking, but
yeah.
I'm somewhat excited for that, but also feel kind of shitty that I like have to totally consume a new pair of boots, like brand new again. But
Yeah, that's why I was going secondhand with mine.
yeah,
I was
exactly.
like, if you truly want the ground cover boots, then get them secondhand if you can. But they're so well loved that you probably want to them secondhand. So, but I'm glad he's like that. Just speaks volumes of how he is as a person. Just giving
Yeah,
like just basically giving a new pair because I've heard that unfortunately the quality of the boots are delicate, and three of my other friends had some problems happen like that, and he did the same thing, gave him a new boot,
yeah,
so I got
it's
another one.
it's his first footwear project. I'm just trying to be patient with it.
Yeah.
I didn't expect it to be perfect, honestly.
Hmm.
Um, that's a whole nother situation where you could talk about pricing and stuff. I don't even want to get into that.
Oh yeah. Honestly, on their recent posts, I saw people from Unsound Rags bring that energy over, and I was like, do not do that.
Yeah,
This is a whole nother topic.
seriously. Ground cover and Avery canceled. No, I couldn't. He's nice.
Can't catch.
Um,
Actually, low key, I was a little taken back with his H&M
I
ad.
knew I knew that was gonna come up.
I'm not gonna lie. I was like,
Yeah,
wait a minute, dog.
me too.
That's the other day.
Yeah, I don't know how to feel about that still. It's very like,
It's awkward. To
yeah, I don't know. It just didn't seem like something I would expect. But also, I mean, like he tried using the platform, I guess, to sort of be like, hey, you guys aren't doing good enough. But
yeah.
are you really doing that if you're still promoting their product, which as even if it is like a
Mm,
sustainable
yeah.
greenwashing product,
They just
you
have a history of doing that and not sticking to their guns on it. So
right.
I think it was just a misstep, and maybe it was in line of what he was preaching. It was not
Hmm.
it's not like it's out of character, but it's just the wrong brand to do it with.
Yeah.
So,
Christian said Avery canceled. Day said it, not me.
hey, I mean, nah, I could never cancel Avery. That man has taught me way too much
For real, yeah.
about everything.
One of the reasons that my channel is the way it is and even exists. So, um, any other pickups for you other than looking for boots?
Um, I picked up some new Levi's, which is funny that we're talking about Levi's. But they are too big, unfortunately.
Okay.
So we're gonna see if I don't like tailoring vintage Levi's at all when it comes to the waist,
Hmm.
but we shall see if I can work with that. Got
Cool.
some new T-shirts in because I'm a big T-shirt person.
Me
Black
too. Yeah.
T-shirts, they're always the best. Uh, and that's about it. I try not to consume too much because of COVID because I'm like I literally don't wear half of my clothes right now because of COVID because I'm not going out. So I try to keep it on the low. If anything, if I'm buying a lot, it's usually for obsolete.
Hmm.
So
Yeah. My wardrobe is relatively small. Like this rack back here
mm,
is like probably 80% of my clothes. So I
mm,
don't have like I don't buy a whole lot. Just because I don't feel like I need it and I can't exactly afford it anyways. Um, but recently got a couple things from the good friend Tommy Pointer. I got a
oh, bro, I love
hoodie,
him.
and I also picked up the
His shades.
shades.
Hey,
Um,
I thought about buying
feeling
those
these.
today.
What's up,
I thought about buying those today, actually.
dude? I think he said he only has like a few pairs left, but
I know.
they
Impulse.
fit my head very nicely. I'm kind of surprised. Like I never have success with sunglasses, and I always either lose them or break them. But these feel pretty sturdy, and I have a good feeling about them.
I wanted the ground cover sunglasses, but then I was like, I might as well just wait. That's a boot.
Yeah, for
That's a
real.
boot
Yeah.
cost.
But yeah, I might do another one of those like quarantine favorites videos because people seem to enjoy those. So I'm thinking of
Yeah, your last one was
putting,
dope.
thank you. Yeah, I was thinking of putting a couple of the pickups in that.
Mhm.
So pickups might return on my channel.
Yo, honestly, pickups. Everybody loves pickups on YouTube.
Yeah, seriously.
They
It's
just
that's sort of like a thing I've always found that's interesting. Like, I don't, is it just because like people want to find new stuff that like they can get, or is it just like seeing somebody's personal style
it's
evolve?
both. It's definitely both because it influences you to
Yeah.
try something out different or see a product in a different light. Like
Mhm.
I've always been the type of person that whenever I see pickups videos and especially someone that's close to my body type, I relate to that piece more. That's
Yeah.
why I think I struggle with relating with a lot of designer channels or channels
Mhm.
that have a lot of designer. I'm like, I'm not your body type and this brand doesn't do that body type, so why would I? But I always like seeing it on them just to see. But
Yeah.
most of the time I gravitate towards someone that it depends on the person when they do pickups.
You talked about that a lot on the Fashion Move Forward or Fashion Collective podcast, right?
Mm,
Um, yeah, I was listening to that a few days ago, and I noticed you were talking about that, and you had a lot of good points about that. Um,
yeah.
but I feel like it really depends on the personality as well, as far as
Yep.
the channel goes. Like, you can talk about this designer stuff, but make it consumable and accessible and just like welcoming, or
Hmm.
you can flip it a complete 180 on that and make it
Hmm.
very hard to consume if you're
Yeah.
not someone who's going to actually be wearing that stuff.
Yeah. There's definitely like I said, Jacob Keller mixes designer with vintage, and I'm like, that's perfect because that's
Yeah,
exactly where I'm trying to go.
me too. Yeah, like I definitely have been feeling just the more worn in look lately.
Mm,
Um, and effortless too. Like
yeah,
most
just
of the
throw
time,
it
I at this point, I really just want to build a wardrobe that I can get up in the morning, throw some stuff on, and just feel good, and not have to really like analyze it
on.
too much or think about it before I step out. Um,
Mm,
and something that's gonna last me a long time too. So like, I'm really only keeping stuff right now if I know that I love it,
mm,
and if I don't love it, then I'm just gonna find something that I will love and will last me a very long time. So that's sort of where I'm at right now.
but I preach all the time: don't buy it if you don't love it, because you're just
Exactly.
gonna look at it and be like, "Wow, you're a
Right.
waste of money." Did you see the new Margiela Reeboks by chance?
Yeah. Like the Trump, how do you say it? Trompe l'oeil?
I have no idea how to use it. I looked at that word and I was like, "What?"
Yeah. He
But yeah.
he used it's like I think they showed his last actual show, the spring summer 2009, where they had those like it was just like a sheet with
Mm-hmm.
the garment printed on it. I don't know if they were definitely like referencing that on purpose, but it was sort of like a theme that Martin actually did. I
Hmm.
think I mean, I don't know.
They look like the Jown collaboration. They just slapped a name on it, to be
That's a
honest.
take. That's a take. That's a very much take. What do we think of Guidi boots? I would love
Oh
them.
my gosh, bro. If I
Literally,
hear the word greedy one more time, I'm gonna go nuts. Even though I want a pair, I'm going nuts. Just like, oh my god, I gotta get my greedy D7645 123. I'm like, bro, just calm down. I know you want greedies.
oh my
Oh my
seriously,
god, they're
there's like
beautiful though.
I've always found it funny that like brands, it's like sort of like gatekeeping their own brand, like putting a bunch of different letters and numbers.
Mm-hmm.
Like, do they mean anything? Like at the
Is
end of the
this
day,
me?
do they mean anything? Is it just like the product number? Is it the SKU or whatever? I don't know.
I definitely think it's a SKU number because I'm like, this makes no sense. Just they have the name of the actual like boot, like the actual name of it, and the colorway, and then I swear that's the SKU number. because
Right.
there's just no way. There's
Like
no
this,
way someone sat down.
like the name is just a barcode, just like
Yeah.
no words, just barcode. Do I have my Ramones still? I do not. I just I wasn't feeling them over time. They weren't
Mhm.
comfortable. I didn't feel like I just didn't feel like I really vibed with them as much as I wanted to. So that's
Where did
sort of, I don't know. Like I went through a period of time like late 2019, early 2020 where I was just like trying out like dark shadow stuff.
mm,
It just didn't feel like me. It
word.
just felt like forced to me. So I didn't stick with that very long.
I feel that. That's yeah. I feel that.
Um,
Is
yeah,
there
they are cool. How do I
any?
find people to be on my show? Just I don't know. So much stuff happens just like over Instagram coincidentally. Like
Mm,
I couldn't even pinpoint a specific way. Like with Day, we've just kind of like known each other on Instagram for quite a
mm,
while.
mm,
Um, like with the Honest Faction guys, like um, Alex DM'd me one day and was asking me to do a live stream with him on Instagram. And then one day we were just like, let's keep doing this. And we did some more. And
mm-hmm.
then those guys are like some of my best friends. So it just really all happens naturally for me at least.
That's yeah. Naturally, I like to try to make relationships with people,
Yeah, me
as
too.
best I can. If I genuinely enjoy them, like or what they do, I'm definitely the type of person that'll be like, yo, and I'll hit them up. Like,
Yeah.
but if they don't, they don't. That's cool.
I'm just such a naturally like awkward and introverted person. Like I have such a hard time getting to know people and starting conversations and especially things like this, like even just talking in front of a camera. Like I've been doing it for like 4 or 5 years. I had a YouTube channel about sneakers. It's this same exact channel, and I was recording videos just in a similar way to what I do now. And I
Mm,
still struggle with it so much, and I just don't know why. Like it's not
same.
even like a conscious thing of being like,
Mm,
I wonder who's watching, what are people thinking? I'm just like,
mm,
I don't know. I just freeze up. I'm very like,
yeah.
I don't know. I'm just awkward. You do it very naturally. You're sort of just like this laid back, like what's going on.
People say that, but I'm like, honestly, in the editing process, I'm like, why did I say
Me too.
that?
I
But
repeat things like over and over again because I'm like, I said that wrong. But
yep. I'm like, yeah. And I always talk about topics that are comfortable to me. It's the second that I start doing like commentating stuff because I really want to talk about my favorite brand of all time and do a whole thing about that. But I feel like I could easily say something wrong. And then, like, you talk about that gatekeeping swarm that might happen. Like, I feel like it will probably happen because YSL is my favorite brand of all time. So
yeah.
I guess SLP, but
Hey, I'd love to see it if you started doing more commentary type stuff. I think that'd be cool.
scared, bro. I'm scared. Is there
It,
so many things you could accidentally say wrong?
oh, I say stuff accidentally wrong all the time, and I just like pin a comment saying like, "Oops, sorry guys, I was wrong."
Yep.
It is what it is. Hey, I don't know. I enjoy making this content more than like what I used to make.
Mm. I can tell
So
that you like your channel more than
thank you.
before.
Yeah, I do definitely. I feel like I can be myself a little more. I just enjoy like the journalistic
Hmm.
process. Um, I've always just really liked just learning, and I learn a lot throughout the content that I make
You're
recently.
just maturing, bro. Like definitely there's like a shift in the maturing aspect. Even like down to I think what was that thing you used to say at the end of your videos? You even stopped saying that. So it's like little
I
things.
think I was like, leave a thumbs up if you liked it, and a thumbs down if you didn't. I don't care. Or
Yeah,
something.
I was like, even you stopped that because you were just like, this probably sounds a little cringy.
Hey, you said it, not me.
Oh my gosh, everything I do is super cringy. I'm like, I'm scared to even say like leave a like. I feel like too
Me too.
YouTubery.
Yeah, like in my last video, I was like, maybe consider leaving a like and subscribing if you want.
That's like the polite way to be like,
Like,
please
please, please, like,
help me out with the algorithm, please.
dude, that stuff is just ridiculous too. The way they are working the algorithm and like how insanely difficult it is to monetize your channel now?
I'm not even past the threshold.
Are you serious?
Yeah. And
You've
I
been
was
making
like,
videos for more than a year, right?
I think I'm approaching the year mark.
Almost a year.
And I'm like, yeah, there's no way I'm gonna get past that. So it's gonna reset.
Like I think they made it at least like 10 times harder
They probably
compared to when I monetized my channel in like 2016.
did. Jackson's canceled.
I'm canceled, bro.
No.
I'm canceled for asking for likes.
Right. I think as soon as you start FIT, you're gonna see like a insane because
I
people
just
are gonna want to know about that.
I just need to get uncomfortable, I think.
Yep.
Like,
Go out and start vlogging or something.
dude, oh my God, I used to try doing that and I was so uncomfortable just like even holding the camera in my hand.
Mm.
Just feel all
I
the
can't do
eyes.
it without friends. I
God,
can't
why
do
am I
it.
like this?
I'll never vlog without having friends near to like cope with the awkwardness of just being like with the
Serious.
camera.
And like so many people have these forced personalities on YouTube
Oh,
and
for sure.
it's just like in your face. But I guarantee if you saw this person act, it's nothing like that. I mean, maybe it is. Who knows? Everybody's
Mhm.
different. But
I think I'm more goofy in person, but my channel comes across as if I'm like I'm always laid back listening to jazz music with my cup of tea. Like,
yeah,
no. I mean, most of the time I am, but nah, I'm chilling, being
most of
goofy
the
with
time
my
I'm
friends.
working on my fish tanks.
Yep. Your fish,
Dude,
your fish takes it.
it's so meditative. I've said this in like a past stream, but like if I would definitely recommend doing something like that because I sit there, I don't
Mm,
have a TV or anything. I sit there and I watch it and it just
drains you
get
out.
lost. It's so
Have you
fun.
been watching like any recent shows or anything that you're like, or maybe
Um,
should we save that for your next video of like,
I'll mention one that I need to talk about. I don't really watch shows. I watch mostly movies just because I've always been a movie person and I can't consistently repeat sitting down and watching.
same, same.
Yeah,
Can't
so
do it.
it feels like it starts to feel like an obligation. Um, but I can sit through like a 2 hour movie and be totally fine. But
Yeah.
Minari, Minari just came out.
Oh yeah, with Steven Yeun.
Yes, amazing. Like literally so good. The acting, the cinematography, the wardrobe was really cool too. I think you would
Mhm.
really enjoy the wardrobe
Yeah,
on that.
I've
It,
got to watch it. I watched
it
Cherry the other day.
very
Yeah, with Tom
not
Holland.
even, haven't even heard of it.
Yeah, you don't watch it.
Wait, who's in it?
Tom Holland.
Oh, I think my brother watched that and told me about it.
Yeah, it's alright.
Yeah,
But I
wouldn't
do
have,
want to watch Minari though. You gotta tell me about that.
yeah, it's great. Definitely would recommend that. I cried, not gonna lie.
Oh snap!
I'm
It's
not
one of
usually
those.
it's like I wasn't usually a huge crier during movies, but like lately, if something's like really powerful, like
I
I,
start boohooing, dog.
I
I'm a happy crier and I'm a sad crier in films. Like if it's a good moment, I'm like, oh,
right. Oh, the lump in your throat
yeah,
starts.
I get choked up.
Oh, God. Yeah, I also enjoyed the styling. Simon agrees.
Really,
Thoughts
it
on the
looked
Marc
dope.
Jacobs Heaven collection? I've been seeing that like purple and green hoodie around, but really haven't looked too much into the actual collection. Have you?
I glimpsed at it and then I was like, I'm just gonna wait until the video comes out on it, which usually happens, because I'm never too like knowledgeable on trying to evaluate certain designer stuff. I guess there's
Yeah.
only like 3 designer brands I keep up with on a daily basis. I'm like praying for Helmut Lang to like return back strong,
Oh,
but that will probably never happen. It might happen. I might be like 40 years old one day, and he's like, "It's time.
right. I
It's
mean, like,
time."
I don't think he as a person will come back to the brand, but Shane Oliver did a great job. But he's like the only person who's been there who I actually think did a great job.
Yeah,
Crying during
somebody's
movies
gonna
is a
take it.
sign of getting old. Really? I'm not getting old.
I'm getting old, bro.
Yeah.
It's sad.
Um, Somebody asked, would we buy anything from the Rick Doc Martens collab? I personally,
uh,
if you want to talk about lazy design, we can.
I can go all day with that one. I think not.
Hey, Rick is a smart person for this stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, he's realizing that he can get he already has such a big audience from just how much his name is mentioned.
Yeah.
And I
He
mean,
knows the power that he can hold with anything
right.
he touches. He's got that Midas touch going on.
First of all, you got Champion. People made fun of that, but people went
Yeah.
crazy for that too.
Bought it and worshipped it.
Converse, of course, people, same thing.
The
Uh,
dogs, bro.
and then the docs. Yep.
The dogs were actually a disappointment. I think he chose the wrong silhouette. I was actually kind of hyped
Oh,
about it, and I was like, why this one?
yeah,
Of all
seriously.
the docs.
So much more could have been done with it.
Yeah.
The ones that were kind of cool to me were like they look kind of more like hiking boots. They look
Mm,
like a beige suede.
hmm
Just the look of those was a little more appealing. Rick getting the big bag with those boots, yeah, seriously.
Kanye's a billionaire now. That
Six
Kanye X Gap
multi-billion.
collection,
Sheesh.
I'm ready. I'm ready for him to like do a video on that. He needs to release what's going on with that
Yeah.
because I don't know. Gap is such a sad company right now
Oh my
and
God, yeah.
needs help.
Yeah,
So
did that ever like actually release? I don't know what it.
the hoodies got leaked, but I'm like, okay, I don't want to look at the hoodies. I want to look at the whole thing. So
Mhm.
I'm ready. It's basic. The hoodies look just like what he released for the 2020 Vision when he was like campaigning that purple thick
Yeah,
double lined hoodie. It's the same thing, but in different flavors, I guess.
yeah.
Flavors, colors. So I don't
Would
know, but I'm ready to see something else.
yeah, I agree. Did you see the well actually my dad likes sneakers and stuff and he says that like I don't keep up with sneakers anymore, but he said that I don't know if he's right. I don't know if he knows what he's talking about or if he's just being a dad, but he's like um Yeezys are the new like anti-hype shoe. I'm like, what? Is that
That's
true?
true. That's true.
It is.
That's true. Because Kanye said that it exposed people that only liked it for the exclusive
Yeah.
factor.
Yeah.
And Kanye said it himself that he would like a larger portion of people to own the shoe. Like everyone will
Yeah.
have Yeezys, and
He's been
that's
saying that since he started making them, which
yeah.
is a crazy thing. It actually came to fruition.
So I'm proud of him for doing that. I mean, not on a sustainable level, I am, but like keeping to his word that he didn't want it to be exclusive in the first place was like
Mhm.
okay, that's actually pretty dope because not many people think like that in the first place.
Yeah.
So,
It's
but I
cool
don't know.
to
Yeah,
see.
it's overplayed too. I don't want to say easy.
No, yeah, I would agree. I do. I like the first foam slides. I kind of was feeling those.
The
Um,
Yeezy slides, low key,
yeah,
that's
it's
a
like
vibe.
the cool thing is that he like made these things that are like what he wants to make. I mean, and you can tell like, do you say Ding Yin Zhang? Do you know what I'm talking about? Ding Yin
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
You see a lot of their work in that for sure, but it's just like not that mainstream look anymore.
Mm-mm. I would say the look that is in now that no one is actually looking at. Like if you look, like I think Kyron said it in his last video, but it got me thinking that he's like super correct. Is that so much of the Yeezy collection or Yeezy season and his boots and his other lines that weren't like mainstream were actually really nice, and I think that would pivot into today's trend a little bit, especially the outerwear. Like at least that fits in with me. Like the outerwear was really nice. The boots were really nice. Very on par. Hey,
Yeah.
it is what
Yeah,
it
I mean, it was cool and like even like the big news stations, I remember for like
is.
few seasons they were like,
Yeah.
why is Kanye making clothes that look like rags? Like, I don't know. It
And
was
look what's in trend now.
right, right.
Rags.
Oh, you just missed me talking about the ground cover boots. They have not been holding up very well. Um,
You might want to do
well,
like a half update video. I know some people are planning. I know Ray got them and he might do one too. Ray Mia.
yeah, maybe I will include that in a video, but um, long story short, they were holding up great, and then I did something, and the toe caps got really messed up. So Not
$500 boot. Did
that.
you see by chance? It was a long time ago, and I don't think many people saw it. But there was this other brand right when ground cover came out on Grailed. There was another shoe, but God, I'm gonna have to figure out the brand, like send it to you. But it
Hmm.
was the same material, or at least the same look of the same material, and it was like 200 bucks. I think it was a boot. It was 200 bucks. I'm gonna have to find them, but like I found that very odd that it looked so the same. I'm gonna have to find it though for you because I was like, why?
Interesting. Yeah,
Wow.
I don't know.
But it wasn't like a lace up boot. It was just like just a slip on boot, kind of like Guidi back zip or something.
Mhm.
So I was like, okay,
Um, do we like Mihari Yasuhiro? Do you?
yes, the
Yeah,
Converses.
I enjoy it. I think it's fun.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I definitely do.
I don't have an issue with it.
It's
Uh,
expensive.
yeah,
I'm
definitely.
like, wait a minute. I don't know if I can. I mean, I can technically afford it, but it's gonna
Yeah,
take a couple
right.
paychecks.
There's a difference. Yeah, for me, I look at it. I'm like, okay, I can afford it, but can I afford it? Afford it? Like,
Yeah, can I buy this
can I
right now
be
and not
comfortable with
hurt?
this?
Yeah.
Um, would we mind explaining on why we don't like the Doc Martens? You like them, and they aren't the most creative, but they merge both of the brand's visions. I just,
Ah,
I'm, I just could not see myself putting those on my feet and being happy. I don't know, like
that's
they,
what it really came down to.
they're just boring. I just think they're boring, honestly. Like,
He could have done, like I said, I think he just chose the wrong silhouette. I don't know what silhouette that would have been perfect for that, but I just think that the silhouette was a little
right.
wrong.
Yeah,
Bumpy
I just
too.
think the mega lace is getting, or
Hmm.
the hex lace or whatever is getting overused. I think it has been for a while, and I'm just kind of done seeing it, honestly.
I would cry if I had to like put on a pair of shoes and I unlaced them for whatever reason, and I had to relace them joints. No way.
Like a
Oh,
puzzle, like, okay, this goes here,
I'd be late to class for three
here,
hours trying to lace them joints up.
for real. Um, Rick Boxer meme shoe. Ooh, I don't like putting that on things. Um,
Meme.
I guess everything is at this point, honestly.
Vintage is becoming a meme, and could see it heading
Right.
there. Like if you say the word vintage, I'm automatically gonna be like,
Yeah, there's a place for memes in fashion, I guess. Yeah, they can be fun. I said this a while ago, like probably almost a year ago in one of my like Q&A videos or whatever. I was like, there's a difference between having fun and it's fun to make fun of things, sure, but there's like a difference you can clearly tell sometimes when
it's
you're
like
making
hate
fun of something.
directed.
Yeah, laughing with it's like laughing with somebody versus laughing at somebody
Mm-hmm.
and just being a mean person. Like
Yeah,
it's
like you just
there's a point where it's not fun anymore.
it just gets in, especially if it's something that you care about.
Right. And
It's
that people care about. Like let people wear and be who they want at the end of the day.
you're
Wearing
not
clothes,
obligated to get it.
life is a meme. This live stream is a meme. Nothing's real.
Nothing's real. My hair's not real. I'm
Forgot I
serious.
had this big water. Where's your 2 liter?
Oh, I put it up in the fridge. Now I have my San Pellegrino
Mm.
Luminata. It was
Any
2 liters.
any questions people have in the chat or anything like that? Christian said Demna made a career out of memeing fashion. That's very true. Um, Ratatouille t-shirt.
If Peter Doe did menswear for Helmet Lang,
Oh, somebody said that.
yeah, it was James Steele. If you scroll
Oh my
below,
god, I missed
if
that. It's
Peter
an
Doe did
interesting
menswear,
take.
Peter Doe, literally, gosh,
Dude, if he made menswear at all, I would gobble it up. Like I literally almost I was about to buy the tank top that's like
mm,
one regular strap and one
yeah,
like yeah. I was about to buy it. I DM'd Alec Augustin and was like, "What size do you wear? Please don't tell me you wear a large because that's the largest size they have."
hmm.
I was a large, and he's like 5'6" and or 5'7", and I'm like 6'2". So
You're 6'2". Good lord, I thought
I'm
you were like 5'9" or something.
like slender man.
6'2". That's awesome though. Tall people,
I
hey,
guess
commendable.
I don't know, man. People like I don't think being tall is some kind of like crazy thing.
Really?
I'm not. I don't know. I guess I would have to like live a day in somebody who's like
5'7" me.
5'1" and be like, oh, I'm thankful for being tall now. Because like my girlfriend Gabby, she'll be like, can you like reach that on the shelf? And I'll like lean down and be like, you really can't see that? And then I'm like, oh my God.
That's
Like,
crazy. Perception changes, bro.
uh,
Is the water secret to keeping your skin on point? Yes.
is water the secret? Ooh, not gonna lie. So I don't know.
Skincare? Gotcha.
Oh, you into it?
Yeah, I'm so into skincare.
Oh my God. Let's do it.
Uh,
So I got hit up by Curology last year and did like a 2-minute ad in a helmet laying video.
mhm,
And I was just like, hey guys, like check out Curology. At the time when I actually made the video, like it wasn't working super well for me.
mhm.
But over time, being consistent, that stuff really is good. Like their cleanser, I don't know, have you ever tried their stuff out?
I'm actually on there. Yeah,
Oh,
I have
cool.
Curology.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess this is the Curology ad now. But
Yep. Get your Curology, guys. They make a recipe for your face.
oh my God, the ads are so annoying. But anyways, their cleansers are like they don't have any fragrances, no
Mhm.
BS that you don't need, nothing that's really going to irritate your skin. Um, the one gripe I have about it is that I feel like their portion sizes aren't big enough. Like my cleanser
Yeah,
runs out fast. I don't know if I
really
use too much,
fast.
but
You might use too much, to be honest,
really,
because like you only need like a dime size, and then it just fuzzes up. So, I mean, yeah, their portions could be larger on the, especially for the cleanser. The moisturizer, I feel like I every what was it come like bi-monthly? I swear I still have like so much moisturizer left,
really,
but
I have like dry skin, so mine runs out pretty fast.
oh, I
Uh,
have oily skin. It's like mixed. I have mixed oily to like dry skin, and so I use it every other day or whenever I'm going
okay,
out. I especially slap it on. But I also have I
that's
don't know
why.
how to describe it. Is it Aesop or is it Aesop? I'm not really sure how to pronounce that.
ASAP. Let's just say ASAP. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't, I don't know, but I use their stuff too, and I've noticed like toner and serums for your face go a long way too.
Hmm.
So
So wait, you use the Curology moisturizer once every 2 days?
mhm. That's how
Gee,
oily my skin can get, though.
okay.
So,
I use it twice a day.
oh
So
my god,
yeah. So
oh no. Well, if you're using toner,
if I don't use it, I feel like SpongeBob without water.
yeah. Oh my god, I can't relate. You could wipe my face and it looks like there's kitchen oil on your hands. Like that's how oily my skin can get.
You could wipe my face and have like baking soda on your hands. Not eating meat really helped my skin. I agree with that. Well, for me, it's dairy. Dairy.
Dairy.
I for a while I spent so long cutting like one thing out at a time,
Mm,
and the culprit ended up being greasy fast food. So at first I cut that out. That's what sort of led to me eating less animal products in the first place.
mm.
And then dairy ended up being the killer. Like now, if I have even the slightest bit, guarantee in the next few days,
Couple of
I'll be
days
done.
flare up. Yep.
I'll be
That
done.
I only once I cut out dairy and once I started kind of like cutting back on like sugar intake, that definitely worked favors into my skin. And a lot of water. Honestly, water
Mhm.
will clear up a lot of dark spots or hyperpigmentation
Yeah.
over the next like I know it takes so long, but it's like 6 weeks for a dark spot to like fade and go away. But what
Yeah,
you put in your body is what's gonna show on your face.
indeed. Um, so yeah, I try to drink two of these 40 ounces a day. Um, I don't know, that's not quite as much as you drink, right? You drink two of
I
those.
try to reach that goal of 3 liters, but that doesn't mean that I get there.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, 2 liters is like the max I try to drink in a day,
Okay.
and yeah, that's really it. Room temperature water always because your body doesn't go into shock, nor does your stomach constrict with
Mhm.
cold water, so it makes you feel fuller later.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yup,
Let's all go vegan and have great skin.
my
I'm
part
down. It's
vegan.
been it's been sort of a struggle for me, honestly. Like I've been trying to be, I guess you say vegan. Like I don't really like to put a label on it. Like I just don't want to eat like
Animal
animals
product. Yeah.
basically. But it's tough. Not that the food isn't nourishing enough, but I feel like I don't eat enough, and that's definitely not good for me because I am a
Yeah.
stick in the first place. And
Got a high metabolism, so you gotta eat more calories. But yeah, I understand that for sure. My partner is vegan, and it's a struggle for them to eat um consistently enough calories in a day.
Mhm.
But for me, I'm not vegan.
Okay.
I don't know. I know that I cut back on my consumption. I try to eat only like chicken. I don't eat
Mhm.
red
I mean,
meat,
yeah,
things like that. But that did wonders on my face too, like just cutting back on meats, just all of that
dude,
processed stuff.
the vegan community is,
They hold the key to skincare.
oh my God. No, I was gonna say, like, if you go on a vegan subreddit,
Hmm.
you'll regret it. It's not
I'll
fun.
regret it. Oh no.
Um, Reddit in itself is just not fun. um, but there's there's like gatekeepers of veganism. There's people who think everybody who's not a vegan is a horrible person.
Yeah,
I just don't get
it's
it. Like,
extreme, bro. Some people think, um, what is it, honey? If you eat honey, you're not a
yeah,
vegan. I'm like, dang, I'm definitely not a vegan then because I love me some honey. Respect the bees though, keep them safe.
for real. Yeah, but it's tough to like make sure every single thing you eat doesn't have like even eggs or
Even
and
gelatin, yeah, like
yeah,
that's the big one for me. I was like, most like jams or spreads have gelatin, which is grind up bones or something like that.
yeah,
A
it's like collagen
hmm.
from bones.
I'm like, no, the sadness.
Right. Do we
Yeah,
believe in eating for our blood type? I've never really looked too much into that.
I've never heard that before. Is that a thing? Wow.
It
Maybe
might be. It must be. If I must be. I don't
I'm
know.
B positive, so
I
I
don't
gotta
know,
get
man.
B
So
positive too.
you, ooh, you went raw vegan. Ooh, how was that? That must be tough.
Bro, you ate grass for 3 days. I'm just kidding. That's insane. Raw vegan.
I feel like it non-cooked. Isn't it everything under like 180 degrees, Brianna, or something like that?
Can't cook anything, really.
Yeah, I went to, oh my God, I went to a raw vegan place in Chicago just
Hmm.
to see what it was like.
Hmm.
We got like 6 rolls of vegan sushi, like a little like pizza thing, some other stuff, and like 2 drinks. It ended up being $90. Like they don't have the prices on this stuff. So
Oh
when we
no.
checked it out, she's like, okay, that'll be $90. And my dad looks at me, he's like, holy shit.
I would have, boy, Jesus, $90. They have
Yeah,
vegan fast
vegan
food.
fast food. You can get anything vegan
Yo,
right now. Like
the Impossible
I
Whopper at Burger King slaps. I'm not gonna lie.
I will say like I'm glad to be trying this at this time.
Hmm.
Like even if it was 5 years ago even, there was not even this much stuff
Hmm.
available. Like there's just so much.
We
And
live in a good generation now where it's not like laughable if you're vegan or something, or
right.
you're eating something that's not meat. It's just nice.
Yeah. Um yeah,
But
you
be
can get
careful. Don't eat too much processed, like Impossible Whoppers and stuff like that. It's a lot of
oh
soy,
definitely.
and that could make you flare up. So,
Yep. I've had that, yeah, I've had that issue too. Because at first when I was trying to like transition to this, like I was trying all the different stuff that was like alternatives. So like
mhm.
I still get it, I still have it sometimes, maybe like once a week, but like the just egg, I don't know if you've heard of that.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah.
it's crazy. It's like basically like the McDonald's like
Like,
patty
yeah.
egg, but
Uh-huh.
it's like it's not egg. It's just crazy. But
I
I was
just when I
trying
pour it out, I'm like, wow, that's it looks like egg.
for
That's
real.
crazy. I
Yeah.
start smiling at my food.
Start smiling back.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I was trying a bunch of that stuff, and then I realized that like having too much soy definitely wasn't a good idea.
Mhm. Is there any like
Everything in moderation.
yeah, everything in moderation. Is there any like future things like you're looking forward to? Like It could be anything, like non-fashion or fashion related.
Hopefully getting into the school that I want to go to.
Let's go FIT. Let's go.
Hopefully, dude. It's
We'll get in. But
it's the
positivity.
you think so? You think so,
Hmm.
really?
Hmm. I think so. I think so.
I'm just not a very like I don't
You
know.
should hit up Kaylee McKenzie.
Oh yeah, she went there, right?
Hmm.
I
She was about to
know.
get her second degree, and then I think she stopped right when Stotts was building, like she was building
Okay.
Stotts. So,
Yeah,
but first degree is at FIT. So, boom,
yeah. There you go.
you're
I'm
gonna get it, man. I know it. I know it in my heart.
Thank you so much, dude. People are telling me that, and I'm like, man, it really does help with the way I feel about it, because like it's just so much uncertainty right now. But if when people are telling me like, hey, you'll do a good job, I'm like, oh,
Would
thank
you
you.
move to New York, or would you just be like, nah?
I would move to New York in a heartbeat,
Oh, let's go. Let's
dude. I'm so tired of being in the suburbs in this town. Just like I don't like where I'm at. Like I love my family to death, of course. I love my friends and everything, all the people that I have here that I actually like am close
go.
to, but just the place is just so
There's something more
there
that
is
you've never
something.
experienced
And
before.
I just if I have the opportunity to go somewhere far for 4 years and just be there and be learning and get that experience, I don't want to pass it up.
Yeah, do it. I told myself I'm probably going to move there.
Oh, really? You are?
Yeah, as soon as possible. My family's there, so like half my family's there. Um, half my
Especially
family
if you want
here.
to do like UX UI for a fashion
Yeah,
house.
I want to work for Grailed so bad.
Ooh,
Just to be like, just like a foot in the door type situation. Like if they need like a product designer, I'd be like, yo, please.
I could totally see that. Didn't I forgot somebody who we both know went or worked for Grailed.
I know
Alex,
Julian Fetterman or something works for Grailed.
I don't know.
And I think the guy that interviewed me works as a writer at Grail. So I'm like,
Okay,
gotta
cool.
keep building those connections because that's really what it's about.
Oh my God, yeah. Like literally what I've heard from everybody who's either working in fashion or going to school for fashion is that the stuff you learn there, sure, it's going to be great, but it's not going to be the most important thing.
Networking is the most important thing, and
Yeah.
that's like frustrating at the same time because you could be so talented and get overlooked because you just didn't have the right connection yet. So
Josh Joshua said there's always Parsons, but Parsons is ridiculously expensive. I just don't think that would be worth it to go there. It's like 57,000 base tuition alone.
I think Owen Hyatt graduated from SCAD, but
Yeah.
I went to SCAD for a semester and then went to App, and all I can say is like the SCAD atmosphere to me felt challenging. I felt
Hmm.
like I didn't fit in, and that's
Okay.
okay with colleges. I just felt like I'd had to be a certain type of person.
Yeah.
So, but that's how colleges are sometimes. You just feel it out. Feel it out.
Yeah, I hope that's not the case wherever I end up. Because I got into DePaul in Chicago, which is where both of my parents went, and they said they got a great education. And I mean,
Experience there. Mm.
yeah, and like I've been there, and like I've walked around and stuff, and it seems great. So I
Mm.
think that's a good second choice, but I would be missing out on all those opportunities for networking at FIT. But what
Mm.
about you? Anything else you're looking forward to?
I'm looking forward to graduating this fall. I'm
Yeah,
looking
senior
forward to
vibes.
just closing that chapter, dog.
So you graduate in the fall?
Fall 2021.
Okay, cool.
December is when I leave.
Well, that's great. So are you planning on going to New York as soon as possible, or do you want to take some time to
I think
get
I'm gonna take. Hmm. Oh my god! Did you hear that thunder?
that was thunder?
That was thunder, dog. Oh my gosh! I
God.
told you it was thunderstorming. Crazy. I'm surprised my power didn't go out.
Yeah,
But
seriously.
um, God, that scared the stuffings out of me. But
You joke.
but yeah, unless I get a job opportunity, like in my last final semester, I think I'll take a year to work uh within my same state, or maybe a different state, I don't know.
Hmm.
And then I'll try again, but I'm not going to give up. I just can't go to New York without a purpose. If I was getting my degree there, maybe,
For sure.
but because I thought about getting my MFA at
Oh, really?
XP Loki or Pratt. I was going to get my MFA there, but
Yeah.
don't know yet because
Cam from The Office
mm-hmm.
went to Pratt.
Yeah. But
Easy
yeah.
is in here. Hello.
Yo, Keezy, bro. Wait. Where's my hat at? I was wearing your hat the other day. I'm gonna post it on Instagram.
Um,
Probably like, they got an afro. They doesn't wear my hats.
um, yeah, I'm sure there will be plenty of opportunities for you. I mean, um, have you ever like looked into actual to business of fashion to see if like their job recommendations are legit? Like I've never really like I see notifications for it because I'm like on their email newsletter, but like
Mm.
I see these crazy jobs and I'm like, wow, are these really
I
available to like anybody?
I I think so, but like at the same time, like who knows for sure?
Haven't they been catching some flack?
A little bit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
who knows? I can't keep up sometimes.
Mm. Though, are you have you been keeping up with like Owen Hyatt, like Somar?
Yeah, he's starting. He's rebranding, right?
Yeah. I like it a lot. I mean, from what I've seen, I haven't seen much, but I know he's recreating the Type 2. Also, I don't think, I think this was an accident, but like I clicked on his link and it took me to like the whole entire site. And then it like, when I clicked on something, it took me off the site. So I don't know if he's like, if that was a bug or something, but
Interesting.
underneath it, it says careers. So I know he's been
Ooh,
looking for an intern. And I am like, I've
that
been
would be
like,
great,
for a year, I've been like, yo, Owen,
dude. Don't stop. Like, keep pushing for it.
I'm gonna push. I'm gonna push. I gotta make sure this portfolio looks. I don't know what he's looking for. He might be looking for someone that's like more. I don't know what exactly the word I'm looking for. Maybe not a designer because I am like a graphic designer.
Hmm.
But like I don't know. I learned a lot.
Yeah,
Graphic designers are so versatile. It's insane. Which is why I
yeah.
chose this major.
There's such a demand for graphic design everywhere now. I mean, it's everywhere you look.
I was
So,
gonna start off as a fashion like major, probably like marketing. If I could like do it all over again, I'd
okay.
probably choose that, or I would choose like sociology because I like
Oh,
that.
really?
Thing. What would you choose if it wasn't fashion related?
Film,
Film.
cinematography, probably. Just it's really. I've always been in love with just the way movies look.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm in a so my homeschool has just so happens to have a magnet academy for digital media arts.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been in that since freshman year, and I'm sort of like know about um, how to make like a movie, I guess, but not totally. But like we have some pretty good equipment, and I've gotten some pretty good experience from that. So I think that would probably be my second choice.
Oh,
It was my first choice before I actually got into fashion. So yeah.
facts. Okay, that's kind of dope. I mean, that'll take you long.
Filmmakers have a very hard time actually making money though. So
That's true. That is true. Gosh, why do we always choose the art majors that are so hard to to network through?
hey, if you love it, you will make it work pretty much.
What's good with that puffer in the back? This, Keezy?
Yeah, what
I'm
is it?
ashamed of this puffer. It's from H&M, dog. But it has lasted me for 2 years. So
Hey,
it was actually not that bad. It was
get the
20
most you
bucks.
can out of it.
Yeah. And I liked it a lot. And it just matched the flow. There was nothing crazy with it. I think it was, I don't know. I also lightly wear my stuff. I'm not really too hard on like
Mm,
harsh on my clothing. So that's probably why it lasted so long because H&M stuff falls apart.
yeah. Not sure where we're from, but growing up, were people generally accepting of our fashion choices? Who were first on that one? Because for
I
me,
think
no.
I think my
You had
family was, but the people around me, I was really like I was a hype beast, dude. It was bad.
Me too.
It was
Hey, I think, hey, there's no point in hiding that. I mean, I am not proud of it, but like I still have my content up from that kind of stuff.
yeah, like I was a supreme enthusiast. Every Thursday, you could catch me on that drop every Thursday. Especially through high school, in classes, just being like going to the bathroom and trying to like secure a drop. Oh my
My
god.
God, I did that too.
Yeah, I was into that. I was heavily into sneakers. So if anything, the community response around me was like, "Day, how are you wearing this stuff?" And I was just like, that was when I started reselling. And then as I got older, ethically, I got kind of, I don't know, something hit me that I just didn't like where it was going,
Mhm.
reselling, and am I really gonna do this? So I just stopped, and
Yeah,
that my style changed that same exact moment.
yeah. For me, people at my school are nothing like. phew. I wore a pair of Dickies 874s rolled up one day. Like this was the first time like I wore anything that was even like
Uh-huh.
I don't even know what that's not even like anything interesting to me. They're fun, like they're an everyday pant, but like this kid came up to me and was like, "Why are you wearing dress pants? It's not a formal day." And I was like, "Oh my God."
These are Dickies, dog. No.
And it's just like nobody grasps the idea of it. And for me, people weren't like, "How are you wearing this?" For me, people don't even say anything to me. They only talk to each other. Um,
No. I was
I didn't
pretty.
really get along with many people in high school, which is why I'm kind of glad that I'm on online school. Um, and
I was just about to ask you, were you like a popular kid or were you like
in middle school, not gonna lie, I was a little bit,
you
but
was
then
popping?
what?
You was popping in middle school, dog?
I don't know. Then I started a YouTube channel. Literally, I'm not even exaggerating. And
Mm-hmm.
people were like, "He is." They would call me very mean words, which I'm not gonna repeat. For starting a YouTube channel, and I'm like, okay, I
I'm sorry,
very weird to like get so mad that I'm starting a YouTube channel, but um,
bro.
and people just like cut me off, and I was like, okay, that's cool. I'll
The
find
heck?
new friends where that came from, and my friend group is very supportive of me now. So
Don't worry, they jealous. They watch your videos.
honestly, I don't know if they do. I know they follow me on Instagram, but
There you go. That's okay. The same people that be hating be the same ones watching. So,
words of wisdom from Day.
dumb.
All right, we're coming
I
up
was
on the
just really
2 hour mark.
yeah
This
coming up
has
on that
been
too.
this has been fun.
This has been dope. I love the conversation. We got into some heavy hitters. I didn't sweat bad for talking about
I
opinions.
didn't either. I always leave with like soaked, but it's really not that bad this time. I don't know how.
Like I'm chilling, bro. I had the AC on though, so
Gotta bump it. It's cold outside here still, so I haven't been
it's
doing it.
just it's frightful outside. I don't even want to go outside,
All
bro.
right. Well, it was great talking to you.
It was great. It was
And
great.
I appreciate everybody who tuned in and watched and was active in the chat. We had some great people who I really admire in the fashion community pop in here and say some stuff. So
I saw
I
some
appreciate
homies
you all.
chiming in. I was dope.
All right. I appreciate you guys all. I'll see you in the next video. Check out Day on Instagram. Want to plug your stuff?
No,
And
I
you,
don't want to plug myself, but I'll plug Jackson. Just like
ooh,
flood himself, like flood all his posts saying he's gonna get into FIT. Okay, he's gonna get into that, right? That's all I'm gonna say about that. Just blow his
thank,
stuff up.
thank you. And everybody blow up Day's Instagram at
Oh my god,
dayona.jones and say, get your Owen Hyatt internship and
I know.
move to New York right now and follow your dreams.
Yo, facts.
Peace out, everybody. Thank you. All right.